All right. Well, Protoss and Terran fans, enjoy. We do have some non-Zerg action going on. Woo! He's actually played a lot on the stream. He's played more in the stream in the last week than he has in the last year. I'm glad to see him once again. In the bottom right, it's going to be my Insanity's PtitDrogo.
In the top left, as the Red Terran, he's KeeN.
All right, KeeN is actually one of the Koreans that's been consistently coming over, but also, sadly to say, one of the Koreans that has kind of had disappointing results. He didn't do too well in most things that we've been casting him in, but fingers are crossed here, I guess. Drogo's got a bit of a weakness when it comes to fighting versus Terran, but KeeN's also playing late in Korea at the time of this being played. He's also latency bound, all these things that have definitely restricted players when it comes to StarCraft.
Yeah. KeeN's a bit of an enigma for me. Sometimes, for the most part, I view him as a average player, to be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit beyond. It's not really so impressive. He'll beat other players around the same skill level, but never someone I'm just like, yeah, this is gonna happen.
If you remember last year's Gfinity or whatever, KeeN came out of looking amazing there, and I expected so many great things, and they just kind of started bottoming out in weekend cups, and we didn't really see him with any results to speak of at all.
I didn't watch the tournament. And unfortunately, because of it, I didn't see if he was actually playing fantastic or if the other players, because I kind of remember the players.
It was a mix. I think the one, I can't remember if it was versus Bunny or who it was. It was actually a great series, but some of the other ones were a bit of a walkover.
Yeah. So regardless of that, it is though that, and I say he's enigma because sometimes he'll beat players.
That's their word.
An enigma. Enigma,
please.
Oh, it's close. I don't know. I'm not gonna give you that one. Anyway, is that he can beat people that like PtitDrogo. So I think on Drogo's best day, he beats KeeN most 9 times out of 10. But sometimes KeeN will have some pretty good TvP in particular. I don't know if he just feels really confident in the matchup, or it's a super imbalanced matchup. Am I right, guys, or what?
Well,
but
speaking on that point, that's where we see Drogo seem to fall apart a lot more recently, and it's against other Europeans, sure, but Liberators being, I think, one of the key reasons for a lot of his defeats.
Yep. So, with everything considered, maybe I give KeeN a 2-1 here. We'll see how Drogo plays in this first game. And of course, whoever does win will face a Zerg in the form of Bly for the best-of-5 finals.
That'll be interesting to see. Not just because it's Bly, but I actually think both of these guys versus Bly would be a very fun series. I don't think it would. I think it would be one-sided. I just don't know to which degree.
Oh, well, I was gonna talk about because they're still getting the builds set up here, and they're pretty standard builds too, like a Would Mine drop from KeeN probably, yeah, and then Drogo for that Robo. I am so glad PvZ is different. I remember in Heart of the Swarm, especially for the last year of it, I actually dreaded PvZ more than anything else, including ZVZ.
Whoa! What?
I thought it was so boring and it was so predictable, literally casting on the floor type of shit. So,
yeah, you did.
Yeah, ZVZ at least had some dynamic to it because it had a very fun early game, an okay mid game, and then kind of a boring late game, but still, it was better than PvZ. But now I look forward to PvZ maybe even more than I look forward to TvZ, especially depending on the players.
Right, when you got someone like Drogo who'll do Phoenix play and things, I always really enjoy those. For that reason alone, I'm actually cheering for him to get to the finals. But quick comment too, there's some comments here oh, you guys are still aren't you worried about missing Overwatch? So here's the thing, guys. One, Zombie can't, and secondly, for me, I've been a part of every major game launch, whether it's Diablo, StarCraft, Warcraft, and I know. Well, not StarCraft, I take the back. I guess StarCraft HOTS. But the point is, between every game server and every launch, Blizzard always has a terrible first, few hours. The servers just die, everything's overloaded, a million people are trying to log in. I hope they have that fixed for Overwatch, but I'm not upset about missing the first couple hours. I'd rather cast some good StarCraft to make our sponsors happy at the same time.
Yeah, I haven't been starving for Overwatch, not like Fenner, man. Fenner needs some ASAP or he's gonna die.
Oh yeah, he needs a direct injection of math and Overwatch.
Yeah. Finally we have something going on. It's a single Would Mine, not even that much going on. All right, that's almost disappointing. The single woman really shouldn't do a whole lot. Certainly not gonna be able to stop a third base from going up, which Drogo, I guarantee, took advantage of because he knew that it was a Would Mine drop to start. Again, of course, we have Barracks on the way now, a Liberator, not surprising at all. And the tiniest little push over C, Observer sees it, sure it dies, but it's still pretty important that he knows this is trying to push out without Medivacs.
Yeah, we also have Liberators coming out too. Something like right now, like 1 or 2 of them is really manageable, but later on with the range upgrade, these become really tough to deal with. In fact, we can see now that this was after the balance patch. 5 damage versus all, 7 versus light.
Oh, jeez. Yep, that's why I love the cast.
It's so awkward. Like, seriously, guys, we were talking about this. Like, yes, they're from replays. We don't know the results. We don't know how long these will go or anything like that. But the question was, would we be able to even cast? Because the balance patch hit in the middle of us casting the map tournament. So it's kind of cool to see that the replays actually still work. That's great.
Yay!
Because for those who don't know, replays always seem to break on every patch, whether minor or large. Stalker's still going to attack the other side. Drogo's saying, you know what, screw it, I don't need to deal with the Liberate at home if I'm providing aggression on the other side of the map. And I think, getting this SCV is huge. Might now be able to actually kill the command center. No fixing this, no lifting it.
That would be absolutely huge. Looks like the Marines are going to be able to save it with medevacs available.
Well, the medevacs weren't here for the start of the fight, though, so he actually kills a considerable number of them. There's the cancel. Nicely done out of Drogo.
Damn. Of course, combat shields isn't done. +1 wasn't done. So yeah, those Marines were going up against quite a force, and that is huge. I don't know why, actually, just speaking in general, why Terrans are putting their commanders in the low ground in Frozen Temple in particular. Because we see so many of these Blink Stalker attacks that you have to take seriously. Like, they're not going to kill you, but you need like a bunker to fall back to. You need to wait for those medevacs, but they put the 3rd CC on low ground. I don't...
Did I ever share with you my terrible command centering on my journey to Masters because of Frozen Temple before I got fed up and vetoed it?
No.
Versus Protoss, I started just putting the 3rd in base, making it an orbital, and then I would just put a planetary at my 3rd. Like, I just got so fed up with this exact situation happening to me every game.
Masters players, everyone.
Right? NA
you
Masters
too.
players.
You
NA
too can
Masters
easily
players.
make Masters, trust me. Anyway, so the replacement 3rd CC is almost done. That I mean, the current context of things, I guess it's not really that long. Luckily, he was banking minerals and put it down pretty immediately. Of course, I guess luckily you got to cancels first and foremost. But the Blade Stalkers taking so much control here. Oh, don't. Oh.
Well, nice deny out of Drogo. You can't stick around for too long with the Marauders, though. But I was going to comment, actually, this is a sick plug that I didn't even mean to set up. But the game where I cast Nathanius' match and he cast mine, I think was one of those games where I did that stupid build with Battlecruisers versus another Masters Protoss. So just say, check out Nathanius' YouTube if you guys want to see that. Liberators, though, set up are not going to stand too long against these Stalkers. Drogo just looking to bully his way in. He blinks up, which means he's going to take control at the top of the ramp. Should come off cooldown in a moment to disengage if he'd like to, and I think he doesn't need to. He's focused right now on these Marauders. He's starting to take some pretty bloody losses. Blinks into the army. Medevacs pick up some of the units, so not even everything's out here fighting, but the Marines aren't being kited. He's just standing in place, and Drogo had a lot of momentum going for him. Suddenly now goes back in the favor of KeeN.
Yeah, that was questionable overall, and in fact, it went better than I thought it would for Drogo, who still has a nice enough Blink Stalker army against what KeeN has, because of course some of that supply are in medevacs. Here come the Marauders, though, and that's going to send Drogo out and away. Might even clear up the Warp Prism, especially with Focus Fire. Yeah, there you go. Still a nice amount. And of course, behind this, Drogo has gotten a couple of key things. Of course, that 3rd base, having been up for quite a long time, is not really... It's great, actually, because KeeN, of course, has lived another command center. But I would expect the 4th base to be down by now, to be honest. How long that took.
I mean, I like it. This was like a Blink Stalker all-in that once the Warp Prism went down, he really had to start thinking about Plan B for. He may have been thinking about it beforehand, of course, but the Dark Shrine is a really cool touch on top of this, because one of the things the Stalker saw was there's no turrets anywhere. There's going to be scans, sure, but no turrets makes this a real pain in the ass to deal with, that's for certain. So Drogo's going to move across the map, maybe keep up some fake aggression at the front, not really engaging the army, but keeping them busy while the DTs go into the naturals and the mains? Question mark?
That could be a pretty good combo right there. It's not really super going for it, though. The 4th base is finally on the way. Again, something that I think might have been able to go down sooner, but of course he was microing and trying to actually straight up win with the Blink Stalkers.
So KeeN saw this, by the way. Nice raise on those depots at the last second. That was pretty clever. Scan's going to go down for certain. One of these DTs just kind of hiding, hoping that he doesn't get revealed, but the depots get broken. No scans are going down. Stalkers did blink in to cause that distraction. DT's just kind of on a move right now. Not go for that mineral line. Not slaughtering workers while this goes on.
Okay, so not the greatest use of the DTs. This one is finally cleaned up.
Yeah, now he gets into the mains. He's gonna attack the missile turrets, actually. Wow,
Okay,
he actually kills 2 turrets. That's huge.
Yeah, that's really not so bad. You gotta replace those. You gotta bring some of your army back, suddenly.
He had just muled, too, I think, thinking that it was gonna be fine with the turrets. So he's got about 1 scan ready to go, another one almost ready to go. Meanwhile, the counterattack does go down, and Drogo walks into it with his stalkers. Oh, that field would move commanded.
Oh, that's painful. He only really just started to get his other, like, you know, basically gateway units up, and I'm talking about the adepts mostly. But here we go, another big warp in came in.
Even with the scan, he just turns into an Archon. If the Archon were to finish early enough, maybe he fights this out. There's really not a lot of bio left. And more importantly, not a lot of anti-air. The Mothership Core is actually not going to have anything to kill it.
The army might win. Okay, that's kind of funny. But the army might win, but the DTs are still doing damage. Finally, one of the naturals cleaned up. The main commander is not being lifted. Are you real? Okay, it's lifted. It can be repaired too. So right there.
Nice overcharge. Gonna pick up 2 of the Marauders. These medevacs are pretty plentiful, but there's not a lot for them to heal, funny enough. Mothership Core, please! No, Drogo's gonna lose it!
Not really enough blink stalkers, even if they could blink. They weren't going to do very much. So, looks like the DT's finally all cleaned up. This last one actually needs the orbital to land to clean up. No, he's one of the 3rd. Scan, damn you! There you go.
That
Still
DT
burning.
did so much damage. I mean, this was good, but the problem is, we look at the army supplies at the end of this, and Drogo, if he had Storms or a Disruptor or Colossus or some sort of area of effect, I wouldn't mind him being down 40-something supply. But the fact that it's Immortals and Adepts, and I feel like with 1-1 on KeeN's side, this isn't so bad for him.
Yeah, I like KeeN's position a lot better, but,
Well, he's going to come in for the attack on round 2. Stalkers and Adepts are just... Yeah, I guess I forgot, too. The Mothership Core went down, so there's not even overcharges available for the defense here.
And it's going to be 1 as she pops here now. The Adept count has definitely grown, and the upgrades are getting up, too. And that was really what was a lot missing. Of course, the non-A move also did not help, but now everything is combined together with a couple of Immortals. Looks like KeeN's not going to be too eager to take a direct fight. He will boost over to the 4th base where there aren't any Blink Stalkers available, so they are going to be able to unload entirely. Could take a fight here. That's a lot of Adepts, but that's also a lot of bio. Wouldn't mind could burrow. Could burrow, it's not. There we go. Oh, it's going to be a good hit.
Gets the Adepts, but the shields are already taken away, so lots of damage actually done to the army. But the Immortals are starting to push through this, and credit goes to Drogo. He somehow brings the supply back to a much more manageable fighting part. He also, by the way, I guess had like some Adepts killing SCVs or something around the map. KeeN's really down on workers pretty hard right now.
He just never remade them. Like 28 workers, and then goes at 6 more on top of the Blink Stalker attack. So
yeah.
He doesn't actually have that much to transfer over to this quote-unquote 4th base that this Adept has now been able to deny once again. The command center is on fire. This is still a very close game, and Drogo, luckily with his economy, is really what's helping him win here. He's starting to get a good army. More Adepts have to be warped in and try and shade over. Oh, a blink forward might be a little too aggressive.
But the Widowmines also weaken these Immortals, but there's no focus fire. They're still fighting the Stalkers. If those Marauders had dived into the Immortals, the rest of the Marauders would have cleaned up the Stalkers, no problem. But KeeN sent back packing once again. And this time he's starting to lose some of these medevacs, which are much harder to replace than the Marauders.
Yeah, and certainly getting rid of the Immortals is going to be very slow count to rise up again. Would have been worth it. And, oh, maybe the Widowmines... No, the Widowmines not going to move to anything else. But that was close to being devastating for Drogo, but now their shields are back on and all that good jazz.
Like I said, I'm loving Drogo. I thought at the start of this game, like, man, the Blink on failed, and then you're just playing, like, on borrowed time, but he's really done a great job coming back from that huge supply deficit. I mean, it was almost double the army supply at a point.
He does remember that Widowmines are available, too, so he cleans them up with an Observer. I think that was pretty key. So that those could have done some nasty damage. Upgrades still pretty even as +2 finishes up for KeeN. Drogo just a little bit ahead on the armor. But now the economic situation is really balanced out. Of course, we're not in graphs, so I can't even check them. Feels bad. Yep. But 4 bases was 4 to 4.
It's become a crutch. We've become too reliant on the graphs.
It really has. Drogo expanding, definitely necessary to the bottom left as his main is mined out, his natural's starting to get there. And moving over to the top, of course, his Adept saw where the orbital went to, and he knows that there's mining going on, but not all of his army is here. It's a pretty bad fight.
DT should stay in there and just do what it can. No scans out just yet. Starting to disengage. The Immortals are finding the front lines. Guardian Shield gets popped, but is this a fight? I don't think you can take this one.
He probably should not have moved all the way across the map his entire army.
You know, 3 miracle fights was already looking pretty damn crazy. I don't think it was insane for me to expect a 4th. KeeN now with just too much army supply and too much to deal with.
This is gonna be game. Almost quadrupling the army supply of Drogo, and most of your core could get sniped, and with an overcharges, Stalkers can only do so much. It's first game in favor of Terran. Terran! Or something.
Yeah, and I didn't go update to tell the stream. I didn't realize this is a TLO and Bly. My bad, guys, for those who are tuning in. Bly already did win 2-0 over TLO, though, in those semifinals.
Yeah, very, very quick semifinals, so that's probably why you missed it.
Yeah, the winners are going to go on to fight. The winner of this will go on to fight against Bly in that best-of-5 grand finish. But GG's going to get called, and KeeN takes game number 1. Luckily, because these are replays, we can get through them really quickly without too much downtime. But we are going to take a small break because I have to run to the bathroom. So, going to get the lobby up, and we'll see you guys here in just 2 minutes. All right, welcome back to game number 2 here in the semifinals of the Corsair Cup. I didn't see him. I wish I did, because Penguin hit us up with a resub not too long ago. I'm sure he's probably already gone, but big love to Penguin. He's actually the captain or manager. I always get them confused, but he's a big part of My Insanity, the team in which this guy is a part of. In the bottom left side, he's blue, he's Protoss, he's Drogo.
In the bottom right, as the red Terran, he is KeeN.
All right, so really quick, guys, once again, this tournament is sponsored weekly by Corsair. I'm really glad we got to work with them. My favorite thing to just kind of boast about is, of course, their headsets and asking you guys to buy their gear, but if I do that too much, then, you know, you're not going to want to, and I get that. But the Corsair have been really awesome. We're working on some stuff behind the scenes where we're trying to work with them to do bigger things, I guess is all I can say for now. I'm not going to promise something as big as a live event, and I'm not going to hint towards anything we're not actually going towards. But we have some pretty big stuff in the works for Corsair that should be more fun for you guys as spectators, but also a lot better for the players competing in these cups. Because right now, there is no such thing as a monthly final. It's just 4 weeklies. Each week's worth $100. That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. But we want it to grow and become bigger and better. We can only really do that if you guys help us by checking out their site, clicking on their links, and, of course, buying any of their gear. But don't underestimate the power of a click. When it comes to sponsors, guys, they love seeing those numbers. They love seeing people coming from BaseTradeTV.
Here's a hint, guys. VR.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
We're working with Corsair, a company that has no actual visual peripherals, developed their first VR set for StarCraft 2 exclusively.
For StarCraft, yeah. For StarCraft 2 exclusively. Nah, we could have done it for Overwatch, but nah.
Actually,
StarCraft 2.
I feel bad because we did just like totally sell out for a second there, but Corsair legitimately has this cool keyboard, which I don't think is for sale yet, so hopefully this doesn't count as selling out. But they got these new switches called like the rapid fire switches. We got to test them and play with them at DreamHack, and they're like, I guess basically half the length of a normal switch, so they recoil really fast. It felt really weird typing on them because it just bounces back so quick. So it's gonna, I guess, be really good for you guys are APM spammers. Gotta get that APM up. You just like TLO, or in this case KeeN. Or Diva,
what?
Shut the fuck up.
Ha ha.
What's your face?
Ha. I really hope her comic or whatever they do for her, because they don't have like a lineup of comics / animated shorts, right?
I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of.
Mothership War. Well, whatever she gets, I really hope it makes her a more appealing character for me.
Her backstory is like the only one that's not amazing so far, I feel. Like even Junkrat and Roadhog have this like cool kind of like, we were like bandits stealing jewelry and stuff like that. I mean,
her backstory is basically I was awesome and then I got more awesome.
Her backstory is I'm rich and I decided to try something because I could.
And then I was good at it because I'm a natural talent and fuck anyone else who isn't.
In fairness, Overwatch has done a fantastic job with all their characters and their backstories, so I trust that they would come up with something. Because I think like the StarCraft part really was lost. It was just meant to be a cute little Easter egg and not a focal point. But still, StarCraft, man, it hits home. And it hits hard.
Well, speaking of hitting hard, hey, segue. We have a Resident Glaze on the way, as well as a Warp Prism with a couple more gateways. Not an alarming amount of gateways.
I need to diffuse your comment, because this doesn't hit hard, it hits fast.
Well, maybe it hits both.
No, it literally just makes them attack faster.
But the attack itself hits hard. Like, the all-in.
Only on light units.
Just hits more. I always figured that if you're good against light units, you had like piercing or something. That doesn't make any sense. Anyways.
Because then you go through the armor, yeah.
Yeah, so Doesn't make any sense. So this
Ooh, these
all
Hellions.
in might just be scouted. He actually
sick wall
stopped
off.
them from scouting, and that's gonna alert
So
him to something
sick.
being funny.
Oh, he
but
scans
that
what misses.
That
Oh, he misses
scan
the
reveals
gateways.
Totally normal shit.
Oh
Amazing.
man, he doesn't even see the gateways transformed either. Like this is for KeeN. You're just like, oh, okay. He just wanted to make sure the Hellions didn't do damage. No, there's so much more coming, and he's got an idea. So bunkers are starting up.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Maybe he saw the lack of gases with the Hellions, or maybe he just saw that both the Twilight Council and the Robo were chrono boosted and was like, that's suspicious. But it's nice that he's putting down any bunkers at all. He's also getting a Viking to stop the Warp Prism, because, I mean, let's be honest, Warp Prism's going to come down anyways. KeeN could see this, or sorry, Drogo can see this, because he's an observer over KeeN's army, which he has yet to snipe, and that's actually going to be very useful for sniping, so they don't know.
Oh, that bunker is
Where
so
the safe
sick.
spot is.
That bunker is so sick. I'm sorry, Drogo. I'm cheering for you, man, but that bunker is so sick.
It's pretty perfect. The natural, yes, is better off
big-ass
just being
warp in.
abandoned because he doesn't
Comet
actually
shields.
have enough units.
Comet Shields isn't done yet either. I just realized Stim's going to finish up in just a second, but most of the bio's going to die before it has a chance to come into effect. Warp Prism's starting to get focused down. It will, in fact, die. The Adepts did a pretty good amount of damage. 12 workers go down. Most of the bios removed from the field.
I just wish the other half of the units weren't attacking the ones that were attacking the supply depot. But okay, he does clean up both sides of the engagement. His units are bruised and battered, but at least they're still alive, and for the most part, his SCVs are. I mean, he lost quite a few in the pool, so 12, but that isn't enough for what was, kind of an all-in there. Drogo doesn't have Blink. He doesn't really have the best base defense, except with the fucking overcharges.
I mean, I will admit, it's not looking great for Drogo, but last time he also had an all-in that failed that almost worked 2 times afterwards, so it's kind of like, I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence. Real quick response to chat, by the way, though. Sublimation says, I've already bought all their gear BaseTradeTV. Then, dude, tweet us pictures of your gear. We love seeing more Corsair gear. Some people got custom case mods and other cool shit, too. And I'll tell you what, like, one of the biggest things is when someone actually buys a piece of gear and tweets a picture, like, Corsair goes bananas about it, and so do we.
Bananas.
In pajamas.
Just like Winston.
Coming down the stairs.
What?
Bananas in pajamas are coming down in pairs.
Is that the song?
Oh my god, yes. How do you not know this?
Because I didn't have a childhood. We've been over this.
You can feel it was lost on me.
My childhood was full of weeaboo-ness, not innocent songs. Excuse you. So if you're gonna, sing me the intro song to Naruto Season 5, I'm right with you.
How impressive would it be if I could have named that? Would you be impressed?
I think it's Session, I can't remember what it's called, but I feel like I know it. I think it's by Sambo Master. It's like my favorite one.
Triple
Anyway.
drops coming towards the main, but there's stalkers, force fields, and sentries, not to mention overcharges. I actually like that he unloads out here. I think going to the main would have been a bad choice, but as he gets close to the ledge, he could actually just snipe off a pylon and consequently some gateways, perhaps. Adept's going for a harass on the other side of the map, but these clear out a lot more SCVs.
Yeah.
KeeN's down to 31.
4 more die there, but of course more still going down as their target fire and miss target fire in that order. And this is doing more damage. Oh no, he's gonna back off, never mind. So I was gonna say more damage than what KeeN was doing. He gets a single gateway, might be able to get 2. Probably stick around. He's not though. Changing my mind. Okay, he is.
Yeah, this is the problem. Having some trouble defending the gateways, but it was just 2 gateways, and honestly not worth losing an army over. So I like that he didn't over-dedicate to that and just accepted the losses.
Yeah.
The Adepts over here still being quite annoying.
What was it, like 6 more workers killed by those Adepts in the back of the natural was pretty nice for Drogo. He also stalled the 3rd command center for a little bit.
Whoa.
But it's back on.
Never mind. I thought the minimap didn't disappear for a second. I got excited. But it's still bugged, despite a patch today.
Rip. So the main engagement going down in the middle of the map might just favor KeeN if he can get a concave. In fact, he's actually spreading specifically for the concave. That Immortal gets into a lot of damage as targeting those Marauders.
Well, the Guardian Shield also doesn't get focused down for quite some time, and the Medevacs are almost out of juice. So as good as those are, the Marauders are going to start actually going down now. 3 Medevacs just needlessly floating, and there's so many stalkers that could just blink around. I feel like micro this. He's going to warp in directly on the front lines, realizing just how close this is. But very similar to last game, can this turn it around? There's a huge supply lead for KeeN, or for Drogo, and most of KeeN's supplies in Medevacs that are completely useless.
KeeN does have the armor supply, but yeah, they're mostly in medevac, so he just needs to wait for about like another half of a production cycle, to be honest, especially if they're Marines that come out, and he should be okay. That Immortal came in a nick of time too. There's nothing but Marauders left over in that fight, so good thing for KeeN to pick up. His command center finally finished. He's still not an ideal SCV count, but as his main mine's out, he can transfer a lot of workers. Liberators are on the way as well. I guess he never noticed that the third base went down, so he scans Drogos. He's only saturation on the minerals though, so it can't be that, you know, old.
That was such a sick fight out of the Drogo. I mean, like, and again, the same thing happened last game, which feels like an eerily similar supply with the same, like, 3 medevacs in the sky. But as before, KeeN's got an upgrade lead. He's also leading in supply. I am a bit worried for Drogo. Let's not forget, he's already down 1 in the series.
Yeah. Looks like he's going to go into Disruptors. Second Robo on the way, Robotics Bay on the way as well. Widow Mine drop is kind of scouted / scouting the Warp Prism. By the Warp Prism, if you want to say it. Prism leaves awkwardly. It sees it. Oh well. So hopefully Drogo will get like a cannon, maybe, at his third base. Yeah, that's what he gets.
Also, laughing here because of all the people reporting at the server hiccups for Overwatch. I think at this point, if you're a seasoned Blizzard fan, you forgive them, but you also know, like, okay, this is not going to work for the first few hours. It never does, and it never will.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of wish I knew how that works. Like, how far in advance do they have to set up these servers, I suppose? Because they probably have them.
I think the issue isn't that the servers can't handle everybody, so they can't handle everybody logging in at the exact same time. But anyways, Adepts warping in en masse over here. The Warp Prism is going to go down to the Viking. They're going to chase these SCVs down, and maybe economically is where Drogo starts getting back into this game. But despite the army supplies looking somewhat similar, it's not the case. With Liberators in the sky and Adepts dying out over here, it's not looking so good. I do really like the Void Ray, though. I think that's a cool choice to actually go for, especially when you're worried about Liberators.
Void Rays have been for almost the dawn of Legacy of the Void, at the very least the dawn of Liberators being consistently used, have been attempted over Tempests. And I remember there was one Protoss on Ruins of Saras that like went for like 6 or 7. Still doesn't work out as good as well, whatever. And of course, you know, they're good against the Liberators, they don't do so well against the Bios, so once everything's said and done, they usually just lose along with the Protoss. So 1 is kind of cool, especially if you control it correctly, precisely. The Liberator's off to the side or something like that.
Well, it's not going to matter if they're all in the wrong spot at the wrong time. 5 medevacs heading towards the main. Liberator's looking to escort this. There's a couple of pylons, a couple of disruptors too. Maybe this won't be so bad. He's going to go for the attack with the rest of his army, and Drogo's not going to play passive. He's going to try and get some trades. Some base trades.
Yes, he's going to a base trade. So he canceled the Void Ray, and then remember that Fleet Beacon's pretty cool. So he might be able to get 1 or 2 Tempests out. Of course, his gas actually isn't that high, so maybe just the
disruptor
1
shots
Tempest.
are looking good on the Bio. Takes out half the drop.
Oh, dear God. Ooh, that's pretty bad. There's
Suddenly,
still an entire Protoss army.
Suddenly, KeeN's SOL. There's no other way to phrase that. With Liberators won't kill buildings. Army over here is looking pretty fantastic. Gonna kill the natural base. Third base has also been completely gutted raw. Down to 10 SCVs remaining and only 2 CCs.
Jesus. That Disruptor almost killed the rest of the Bio. KeeN still has an army supply to work with. He picks up what he can of them. No, but not the Blink Stalkers. Oh, wait. No, was that on purpose? No, it was on purpose. Tries to catch them, I suppose. I mean, that didn't actually work out that badly, but now outside of the Liberation Zone, don't take this fight.
Don't take the fight outside the Liberation Zone. On top of this, like, Drogo doesn't even need, like, good macro behind this. This banked up mineral count, that's instant warp-ins. That's him replacing this army with relative ease.
KeeN, who, if he can get 1 base back up to mining, which is actually very difficult with 7 SCVs, he has an opportunity to counter and maybe win. Like, seriously, this subject have to really miss. The Blink Soccer blinks have to be pretty poor, but even army supply and even upgrades is this KeeN's 1 chance. He's definitely not going to win the macro game. Tries to call out the mules, but of course he lost that 1 SCV, so it's 1 less. And this is certainly looking like Drogo's game. That flippin' Disruptor hit, man.
Yeah.
That could have changed a lot of things. Widow Mines are trying to get some sneaky hits in there. Already 1 was cleaned up by the Disruptor, so the one's still not off cooldown.
I don't know about trying to take a fight around this. This is too good of a position for KeeN. This is how you start throwing a 1-game Drogo. 9 workers are all that remains on the other side of the map, man. You don't have a lot to worry about, but Widow Mine hit was almost so good.
Yeah.
All the probes are right there.
It did soften up a lot of the Stalkers, so still a pretty good one. Anything KeeN can get at this point.
I gotta give credits where they're due to Drogo's control this game. Like, okay, awkward bits here and there. Maybe KeeN could be discredited for his lazy splits on when those disruptors came in, but without getting too negative, like, Drogo's been attacking instead of off. Like, I feel like there's so many situations where we would have seen a Protoss play overly defensive, be stuck in your natural base, and just be worried of the impending attack. Instead, he took 90% of his army across the map. That was a risky move, but it paid off. It paid off in such big ways.
Yeah, he is mostly going to win this game as he's still consistently mining, getting a 4th base, rising in that army count too, so KeeN is no longer even.
I want to say he could win this game, but Liberators can also ruin your day, so it's...
We really have to be in a good position, though, and that's easily just something you walk around.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're at this point where we can say, like, Drogo, like, especially with disruptors here, he'd have to throw, but or just sit inside the liberation zones, focus fire down, the Liberators, maybe, just maybe, he takes the rest of them out. Now can he deal with the Marauders? There's not that many left. The disruptor's got a decent hit. There's even a Tempest in the sky helping out with this, but while barely, I think he is going to win.
He can't deal with the Tempest. Yeah, so Drogo retreats for now.
Just send one Marine in. You got it. No, you don't? Okay.
I mean, the grand scheme of things, that was a really kind of a terrible fight. This is most of the disruptors, but it doesn't matter.
I mean, that's the worker count behind us, right? That's Drogo having 58 probes to the 13 SCVs. Almost no mules. He's out of energy on most of these command centers. Just not forget, he lost a 3rd one, too, so recovery was going to be tough from the get-go. But starting to push this back, is KeeN gonna... Don't do it, man!
There's
Drogo
no way he does it versus the Tempest. There's no answer to these Tempests, even if he does get enough Marines to kill Tempest. They start abusing more spots than just over ground. Okay, that's their main problem right now. They just go over the water, and there's nothing Marines can do. It should be super exciting, but, you know, Drogo's on the 4th base, and he's got this air superiority thing going on, and KeeN, you can't do it, man. I don't believe in you.
Just stop it. Stop trying. You're not impressing anybody, KeeN. But alright, command center's going to go down for certain. SCV's getting pulled, and that should... I mean, I don't know when that's going to end the game, but it should end the game. KeeN's still scrapping to the last. Disruptor's going to take out those Marines. Tempest don't give a flying gosh darn. GG gets called.
GG.
Alright, so this is going to lead to an ace match, which I'm okay with, because I guess with both of these series, one being really fast and one being 3 games, kind of, like, evens out a bit. But we're going to go to a small break while we get this lobby set up, so don't go anywhere, guys. We'll see you in 2 minutes. All right, game number 3 tied up now 1-1 here for the semifinals of the Corsair Cup. The winner of this will, of course, go on to fight against Bly, a Zerg player in the grand finals. After the finals are done, I'll probably want to play some Overwatch. I'm Rifkin, casting with Zombie Grub, and spawning here on the bottom left side of Dusk Towers. We've got the blue Protoss, my Insanity's Drogo.
In the top right, as the red Terran, he is KeeN.
All right, so KeeN and Drogo have played 2 kind of similar games to a point, and then things change. A lot of the fights look similar while the openings are different. I am curious to see how Dusk Towers will go, though. This being the map of Macro, this being the standard map everyone goes to. I don't imagine we're going to see anything too cheesy or crazy. Like, I don't think we're going to see a proxy start get out of Drogo anytime soon.
I do agree it's probably going to go to the macro game, as Dusk Towers tends to. It feels like especially in PvT lately, but it also helps that neither player, as you said, is doing anything cheesy. So Drogo went for a Nexus, not a proxy Stargate. KeeN not going for a 1-base build, which is what really could have messed things up and made things different. He's just going for the 1 Rax expand, so pretty damn boring starts, to be honest.
It's been a while since we've done a cast. Like, this isn't an incredibly long marathon cast, but we're coming up on like 6.5 hours now, and we haven't had to do this for a while.
Not since
like a Dream Hack or other things.
I don't even know about DreamHack. I feel like only since Ting season 2 or season 1.
Double elimination qualifiers.
Yeah, double elimination.
Yeah. I'm actually liking this though, because again, it's not like we get a bunch of ZVZ here. That's when things become really unappealing to me. The fact that we got still a mix of matches and some good games to cast, not to mention fun players. Again, KeeN, Drogo, Bly, all remaining, all good players. Just to note as well, TLO finishing 4th place will still get money from today's cup. I actually really hope Drogo doesn't finish 3rd/4th though, because last time I had to pay him $10. He asked me to make it rain. So as a joke, I tried to send him a bunch of $1 payments on PayPal. that cost me a lot of money, more than I thought it would have, because each processing thing was like 50 cents. So it costs like almost as much to send him the money as he won. And then also I got temporarily banned / suspended for spamming. So I was like, hey Mana, I'm gonna have to pay you tomorrow. Like, sorry about this, but they put like an 18-hour like lock on the account because they thought it was compromised because I was spamming $1. My bad.
Amazing.
So yeah, if I could
Great
go ahead and not have to do that to Drogo again, that'd be great. But I feel like because he tweeted it, now the precedent has been set that every time I pay him, it's gonna have to be $1 at a time.
That doesn't set a precedent like that at all.
I mean, for a normal person, maybe not. But for me,
So something a little more interesting has thankfully happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Rude.
Yeah, I went there. I went there to just away from you.
Wow, that's rude-er.
The Hellions being added on here doesn't seem like very much. Like 2 Hellions, what are they going to do? But last game, they forced Drogo to make like 4 pylons so it wouldn't be scouted. They kind of scouted the natural and alerted him to something being fishy. That was when the scan went down. And honestly, if they do get into the natural, or the main in this case, I suppose, they can like roast and toast a few probes in kind of an annoying way, but not in a devastating way. Reaper is taken out pretty quickly, and the Hellions know they're not going to be able to get up that ramp. They might be able to scout the 3rd, but like, they're not going to be able to do anything about it, so not too much to be done there. Widowmine on the way out. He might be looking for a similar push to last game, where he just pushed out with those Marines and a single Widowmine. Didn't really do a whole lot. Drogo was absolutely prepared, but...
Well, I feel like every Protoss player knows how to deal with Widowmines, drops or otherwise. But at the same time, you'll see every Protoss player absolutely fuck it up, too. So it's kind of like... I don't think it's a bad choice. It's such a not expensive cost. It's a unit that's usually worthwhile. I don't know. I like Widowmines. I like Widowmines a lot.
Sure, Widowmines are good. This game is not a Widowmine drop, however. It is a... Well, my last game, first game, my bad. I'm Frozen Temple. Oh, but last game for the Hellions, first game for the Widowmine push. There you go. My bad. But anyway, so it's not coupled with a Widowmine drop to think that Frozen Temple game was, even though it did absolutely nothing. Because the star report has been put down later. He preferred going for that second barracks a little bit quicker. Factory, obviously, they could routed those 2 Hellions to begin with, so...
I love, by the way, sorry, again with the Overwatch stuff, looking at some of these screenshots and the actual live feed on Twitch, I guess some people are getting in. But it's like for every 10 or so streams you see, there's like 1 that's actually playing. Everyone else is still stuck in the load screen.
Fantastic.
So again, like this is everything that where I'm like, I'm okay with that. I've done, the amount of hours I put into trying to log into like Zul'jin upon the server release of like Wrath of the Lich King, I was just like, nope, never again. Never again.
I honestly can't recall what game I've been like pushed back on release with. Even when I was really into World of Warcraft and like Wrath of the Lich King, I think it was the one that we got excited about.
That was
because we got in like in Burning Crusade.
I know everyone's like all about Nostalrius or whatever and like the original vanilla WoW. I loved Wrath. That was my favorite time of the game.
It was mine as well. Definitely a highlight, but I don't remember having any trouble. I just feel like it was probably in school first of all. So
yeah,
that
East
helps.
Coast as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Well, I think I tried to play Diablo the first time it was released because I remember that was my birthday present actually, 3 years ago at this point.
Sweet birthday present, bro.
Well, it was $60 and I had not thought of anything else that I wanted, so I don't know.
Again, this kind of goes back to you being like the best girly girl I've ever heard of. Because now I'm sure you'd ask for like Korean makeup or something like that.
This year I asked for running shoes.
Well, my point is, like, I just imagine, I don't even know how old you'd be back then, like fucking 16? No,
3
19?
years ago? Wait,
how
what?
long? How long ago did you say it was?
Diablo 3?
Oh, I thought we were talking about Diablo 2. My bad.
No,
okay.
no.
So I was gonna say though, whatever. Like, even if it was recent you, it's like, hey, Zombie Grub, do you want some shoes or something nice for your birthday? You're like, no, whatever.
Yeah, you think my parents would ever do that? No, I've probably asked for video games most of my birthdays. I asked for a printer once, and then running shoes, and then one time I asked for not a birthday present, but I wanted my birthday party, and this is when I was like 21, mind you, so you're not supposed to really have birthday parties at your house. To be...
Did you get like the streamers up like Kimmy Schmidt style?
Yes, I absolutely did. I wanted to be princess themed.
Okay, I want to tease and make some fun, but we actually have Colossus double produced right now. I was expecting Disruptors, as you would, but
yeah.
Again, just noting, this is the balance patch already having hit, so Drogo's gonna have a 10% attack speed on these Colossus. Colossus, which are in my opinion, already very good in the matchup. Not great, but good in the matchup. Getting a slight buff, that can't be a bad thing. We'll see if he can use this well or not, though. I mean, I really like the idea of the fact that KeeN might not be ready for this. Like, we've already talked about this, like, people don't go Vikings anymore. Everyone still just keeps insisting on investing in the Liberators.
Yes, yeah, we have talked about that. I mean, the unpreparedness of KeeN probably won't be that big of a deal, as we see Colossus more as a response to Liberators, which I feel like this is a situation that happens all too commonly on Dusk Towers, whether it's Colossus or Tempest or what have you, where they both acknowledge that we're both going to play macro games, let's just skip a couple of steps. Let's not do any drops.
Look at this 6
not
spread.
fight.
Drogo's
Yeah,
got
that's
pylons
pretty cool.
everywhere, not because he wants to warp in, but just because he wants to see things coming. Observers to the south. This is such a good way to catch drops, and there are 3 Widow Mines in a medevac heading towards the north.
But it's still even that big of a drop, so, I mean, they both ascended, okay, to the next step of PvT on Dusk Towers. So it's going to be Colossus versus Liberators. But I definitely think that Drogo shouldn't stick on Colossus. There's a reason it kind of fell out. I mean, I wonder if the reason he brought it back is because he thinks this is the only way to do it still. It's kind of like, I don't know, old school, or because of the new patch. I don't know. But I think Tempests are the only surefire way to get some, distance to actually kill those Liberators. But he's going for a Stargate. 4 bases. KeeN should be on a 4th soon, too. It's building right now. And no fights are going to happen soon. Widowmine drop might happen, but right where the army is.
Recalling back, a la Protoss style, what was your favorite birthday present of all time? Any year, any age?
I really can't remember my birthday presents. Oh,
my
those are pretty
gosh.
good. Yeah, I really can't remember my birthday presents. I think...
wow, someone doesn't appreciate their presents. Jeez.
Yeah. I think on one birthday, I might have gotten my Mac laptop, which is a pretty big deal. Because I didn't have a desktop at all. I think the year that we got Pyro, I think, because we got him around my birthday, my parents said that was my birthday gift. Yeah, he was pretty cool.
Oh, that's
so
good.
I don't know.
We already got the Colossus in play, which are going to be excellent in the first place, but we've got the potential Tempests? Question mark. I was going to comment though. I think Liberators aren't going to be that good against because they're not as good against air anymore. Like anything suddenly becomes viable. More Void Rays, more carriers, you name it.
That is an interesting point. It's kind of focusing on Colossus, but yeah, Liberators would changed. Are changed, rather.
Yeah, 5 damage a shot, so it goes from like what 14 to 10 per volley. That's not too bad.
Well, upgrades are starting to fall behind for Drogo because he is advancing tech and he's not advancing his upgrades, and that might be a problem if the bio really is that much better than his ground army. Dealing with a Tempest afterwards could be not exactly easy, but doable. KeeN must realize how advanced this game is getting to, so I am surprised to see even more starports be put down, only at the 2.
Drogo never got extended thermal lance.
Who needs it?
I mean, back in the day, this was something that would... It's funny because you'd forget about it when Colossus were a big part of the matchup. Now that they aren't, there is a little bit of an excuse for it, but yo, Colossus, please, why you no thermal lance?
Really, I mean, maybe they don't need it.
This is like when you don't get charged because you're worried about Widow Mines? I don't know. But Tempest's going to catch one of these medevacs before it gets a chance to unload. The rest of them will still unload nonetheless. Looks like this attack won't be too bad, though. Overcharges are going to buy time for the army to get up here. Stalker's coming in first.
Of course, Tempest being revealed if they aren't already figured out by KeeN. Medevacs are going to get out, maybe 2 of them. That's nice enough. And the game does continue. I mean, KeeN, I don't know how worthwhile it is going to be dropping anymore, especially if he doesn't have a bank. Once you have like 4,000 minerals, I mean, go drop all you want, but he only just got his 4th saturated compared to Drogo's had it for quite some time. Could definitely afford a 5th right now. I'm surprised he isn't getting a 5th. And he's going to need to make sure he has some cushion in case a fight does go down. He's prepping for the Colossus and the Tempest now, by the way. Even though he only still has 2 starports, it's now 4 Vikings at a time, along with an already pretty good, damn good, Liberator count, and Ghosts, just to really round out the Terran composition.
By the way, Verwistnix says, BaseTradeTV, I want to buy something from Corsair, but apparently they don't ship to Germany. Can see several European countries on the list, but not Germany. I don't know how that works, man, but what I would suggest doing is tweeting at them. They're very good at responding. In fact, they respond more on Twitter than they do to me directly on Skype, which is kind of annoying, but whatever. So I would suggest tweeting at them if you got questions about what's up with that, or maybe there's like another website they have specifically for Germany. I don't know, but thank you for the sentiment nonetheless. Now, Tempest are going to be able to start picking up these Liberators, and what's interesting is there is actually a decent combination Ghost for EMP, but Marauder count on the ground. Normally we focus on the Marines, but with the Colossus in play, he does have to be able to deal with these. I don't like KeeN's composition, though. I think even with the Vikings being made 4 at a time right now, he might not be able to deal with this appropriately. I think it's back. I forgot Colossus out of range. The Marauders can just walk up in him.
If Drogo ever pushed into this, not because of the liberation zones, but because of a concave potential of KeeN, KeeN does fine. But if any of them push into each other's chokes, then of course this is going to go very poorly for both parties. But talking about the bank, once again, still not something KeeN really has. Drogo has a lot of cushion in case things go south to remake all of these units.
Well, let's talk about something else that's kind of interestingly developing. Because there's such an abundance of Vikings being made right now, and he needs them. Tempest and Colossus, they absolutely dictate that you need a lot of Vikings. But if he makes too many, then he's not going to have anything to deal with the rest of the army on the ground. If Drogo had Storms, I think he without a doubt wins the game from this position, but he doesn't have Storms. It's still just like Robo/Gateway units.
Even that would be a little bit questionable because Ghosts have already been prepared. Well, Ghost.
The Ghosts have
lost a couple.
The Ghosts have been getting wrecked by the Disruptors. I don't think it would be a problem. But like again, Storm to hit the Vikings, the Liberators, everything clumped up in the sky. The Disruptors have been pretty good, but the ground is less problematic at this point. Oh, he's gonna get concaved on. This isn't good for Drogo.
Surrounded, man. Like this is actually really, really good. But the Disruptors, they go out. They get a good
but
portion
the
to the
EMP
left.
hits the entire army. Now the Vikings gonna collapse on this. Drogo in a lot of trouble. Everything just gonna go down here. There is no surviving this fight. He doesn't even trade out. He's just running away. He might as well move command into the army.
That was a pretty amazing damn fight for KeeN, who absolutely needed it. Now he has an orbital on the gold base. He's floating to the more usual 4th. Drogo, he has the money and even a bit of the gas to replace a fairly decent army, but he needs so much time. He doesn't have enough gateways. Oh, he has so many gateways. I'm surprised he doesn't have enough gateways. There you go.
Okay, so I get those Storms, that's fine. But he needs some sort of like Archons or Splash or something. So I like the DT Shrine coming up next. I don't think DTs are going to sneak in and win the game. But Archons will give him a bit of a buffer, which he needs. Problem is right now, though, that Warp Prism, that Void Ray, that's going nowhere. There's still like 13 plus Vikings in the sky. Excuse me, 20 Vikings in the sky.
Yeah, I would say just completely stop with the air.
If it flies, don't build it. You're going to have a bad time.
And I don't think he has enough time to rebuild an army here. KeeN pushing in already, even, closing the Vikings down to the ground. That should just be enough. He's always had upgrades, by the way. I mentioned that like 10 minutes ago, so his bio is amazing. Woohoo! Overwatch! Damn, that's a huge box.
What? Oh, in real life. I was like, what are you talking about? Liberators do get picked off, though. Drogo starts holding the top of this ramp. While he loses one of his bases, he still has another one mining. But this was a supply deficit that he shouldn't have even had a chance with, but almost brings us back to viability. He's actually sniping off the rest of these Liberators with a few Stalkers that remain.
He still has a bank, too. If only he could collect his army, something would have happened.
Oh, does he have charge? He does, okay.
Well, now he does. He didn't have it for a very long time.
Stalkers blink off to the side once again, picking off these Liberators, doing best they can to focus. The Disruptor gets a good shot on top of the bio. Drogo down with 20 supply, though, in army. I just can't see winning this game. But damn if he's not taking the best fight defensively that he possibly could.
He is trying his damnedest here, making sure the Dark Shrine doesn't come into effect, start like killing all of his SCVs or something like that. He might just push this back, but he needed a 5th base. KeeN is now on much better mining, which cannot be said for the majority of this game.
Gives chase to the units stimming away, but here comes those reinforcements. And I guess the other thing too for KeeN was like, it's not just he took another base, we took a gold base. Look at that income spike, 3K income right now, damn.
Yeah, pretty rare to see that gold base taken in a non-split map scenario, but he saw an opportunity, and then he won the fight, so.
I was really hoping for a Drogo Bly finals, but KeeN definitely deserving the victory here. I should take Terran things to just overwhelm at this point.
He took an amazing fight, and certainly the EMP helped, the units in general helped, but Drogo not having any splash whatsoever hurt a lot. Splash for the air, that is, Corsair Colossus.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. Like, no Storms, no Archons, nothing was going to go too well from him at that point. That is a big-ass box you have behind you, madam. Is that Overwatch? Is this your collector's
shit.
edition thing?
Yeah,
Oh, you're gonna
better
get the
be.
statue? I'm so mad right now. Okay, we're gonna watch her unbox this. Then we gotta BRB while I get the things for the finals. Actually, you guys can watch her unbox it. So the stream's all yours for a minute. Actually, how do we do this? I gotta.
It's a box in a box.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it to you. I gotta be right back.
Why is there so much cushion?
It's all you, Zombie. I'll be right back.
Ah! It's actually really hard to get out. I'm swole enough, but it's just I can't get a good grasp. Oh Jesus! There we go. Another box. Oh, the box on its side. You guys suck at packing. Ow. Are you fucking real? Is that another box inside of a box? No! It's a fake box! It's a trap! Man, they really padded this thing. So this box has like a box lining in it. What's up with that? That makes no sense. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Pretty. Check it out. That's the back there. But it's got like the poster on it. How do I open it? Kinda wanted to keep the box all nice. Ain't working. There we go. Okay. Isn't that cool? Future is now. Oh, I've always wanted Tracer, and here's the Storm, a game I don't play. Yeah. Check it out. It's like a hole you can, like... Whoop. There's so many layers! This feels entirely unnecessary. There's nothing... It's just a really thick box. Oh, I guess it... Oh, it opens, like... I don't know. Like sideways or something. Woo! I did it! Gimme, gimme, gimme. No. Cool. Cool. Oh. So this is the visual source book. Fancy. Oh, the art. Look at the art. Cool. Okay, some of the art I've already seen. I'm excited about that. Some of the art I haven't, though. Oh. Look! She's on her cell phone. She's just like you and me. Huh. Oh, I got the environment art. That's cool! This I assume is the game. I was right. It's the game. Postcards
I'm back.
of the environments.
You ready to do the finals, or are you still showing off?
Dude, I still have more stuff to show off, but this is like a box inside of a box inside of a box inside of a useless box. It's experience.
Okay, well, I'm going to host the finals. You're free to join me if you'd like.
Card packs for Hearthstone.
Something you want to give away?
I already
guess?
have Jaina. Bullshit. Actually, I'll probably use the card packs. If anyone wants Jaina, here you go.
Screen cap it.
That? Yeah, you can read it.
Just giving that out on Twitter.
Soundtrack. Something that Fenner's been asking about.
Oh, I actually am interested in that too. I might have to poke you for it.
And then, the real deal.
Okay, the statue, that's cool. That is pretty cool.
Is it? Is it?
It is. I like it. I think it's awesome. I'm jealous. That's the one thing I'm actually most jealous of.
There's a little instruction on how to put him on his little thing. So many boxes. Ow.
Well,
Stab.
let me know when you're finished.
I mean, you know, whatever.
I'd rather start these finals with your attention, so I'll wait.
It's heavy, yo. Not the statue, the box he came in is heavy. Cool.
You gonna paint it?
I didn't really consider that an option.
I mean, you could.
Probably.
You don't have to.
Probably not.
Okay.
Okay.
Good? Cool. All right, let's get the finals then started, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be Bly versus KeeN. I'm actually gonna make it. I should have done a tweet while she was doing all this stuff. I didn't think. But okay. Sit tight. We'll see you guys in a second as we get into this first map.